Well, thank you for joining me today. This is the very first video cast for a new YouTube channel, The Aging Athlete. And so my hope is that something that I share with you will help inspire you, help motivate you to do something that elevates your competition, your competitive level. Well, my name is Monty Slaver. Now, you're probably first asking yourself, what qualifies me to be an expert on an aging athlete? And what I would say to you is I am by absolutely no stretch of the imagination an expert. I will share things that I've learned along the way. My hope is that there'll be something for everybody, no matter what your level of activity is. For me, it started around 40 when I started to notice some problems in my knees. I actually have a blown out knee from 25 years ago playing soccer, and I never got that fixed. It was just bad timing when it happened, and we didn't have insurance, and so that's a whole nother story in itself. I'll probably share that at some point with you. I started to notice problems with some knees. I started to notice problems with the back. You know, if you've ever played any tournaments, you know that by the end of a tournament, you're in really bad shape, especially if it's a senior tournament, which I played senior softball for quite a long time. Some tourneys, and boy, it was rough when you get to the end of those tourneys. So I live in Dallas, Texas. My current sports that I'm playing are pickleball and softball. There are many options for the aging active adult. You can play pickleball, volleyball leagues, kickball leagues, and of course softball leagues. And there's even senior softball leagues and senior softball tournaments. Something you may not know about is every state has senior games. They include all sports. They happen at different weekends. They start at 50 years old and go all the way up to 90 years old. So it is an amazing thing, but that's something you can do. But there are plenty of options for you as an aging adult. The bigger question, as we will address, is what does it take to be healthy and physically able to participate in these sports and really enjoy it. So I made it through my 40s pretty well. I played soccer till I was 40. And then switched over. I played softball off and on throughout all of my life. But at 40, I decided it was time to hang up the cleats, and I started playing softball in leagues a little bit more seriously. And I really generally didn't have any problems till I hit my 50s. And once you hit the 50s, you start to notice more aches and pains, and things start to happen. And your mindset is a problem. You think you can do at 50 what you used to do at 30 or 40. And so for me, probably the mindset was what I had to change the most. I had to come to terms with the fact that while I still did some things pretty well, I could not do the things full bore like I used to do. So I came to terms with that. And right around mid-50s, I started having some groin pain, and things just kind of started to go downhill. I just assumed it was an injury. And so I started to navigate that, and my running was being impacted. Any kind of push off on my right leg was really a problem, and so that sent me to getting some answers, and knowing I needed to find out exactly what the problem was. So unfortunately, it really was not an easy journey to figure out. I guess I was young enough that you don't typically have issues, for instance, with your hip, but that is exactly what it ended up being. After going to many specialists trying to figure out exactly what it was, I even showed that I had cartilage in my hip, but in the matter of 6 months, it went from a fairly a fine grade of cartilage to absolutely nothing, and that was I literally got to the point where I really could barely walk, and that happened pretty quickly, and so I ended up getting a total hip replacement, which I will tell you was the best thing that I could have possibly done. It was very significant once I got to the point where I could start doing the things I wanted to do on it, but it was very significant. Now, the problem then began that everything else around the hip was had been working so hard to carry me and working so hard to provide me what I wanted as far as playing sports, that it was now worn out. And so it really took me a significant amount of time just to figure out how to get all of that back in harmony. So 2 years after my hip replacement, for my 60th birthday, I decided to do something kind of crazy, and I competed in the Texas Senior Games in the 50 and 100 meter run. Now, overall, I was pretty happy with, I finished somewhere in the middle and felt pretty good about that, but it actually revealed that I really had things that had to come together before I felt like I really could be comfortably competing at a higher level, such as something like the Senior Games. There was a lot of really good competition, and let me just tell you, watching the 90-year-olds run the 50-meter dash was really outstanding, and that was very motivational for me. So part of what I'm going to do is I'm going to share what it took for me as I went through that journey. I had a lot of physical therapists that I went to, a lot of back, and a lot of what I did was I went to some specialists. I wanted to know exactly what was going on with my body. So what are we going to talk about over the next, I don't know how many weeks. We're just going to keep going until we feel like we've touched everything we can possibly touch. But there are several topics that we're going to cover. Things like the feet, the hands, of course our muscles. There's this thing called pliability, muscle pliability. It applies as well to soft tissue and fascia pliability. As we get older, our fascia and stuff starts to get a little bit tighter. We've got to limber that up a little bit. Same in the muscles again with the pliability. Ice and heat, what does it have to do with anything? Inflammation and circulation, very important in the process of helping things along as you go from activities and things get sore. You need to know how to address that. Your back is a big issue as you age. Supplements are important. We'll go through a lot of supplement, and none of this you need to do or have to do. One of the things I would tell you is there is no such thing as one size fits all. You hear things all the time that say everybody should do this or that is just not the case. The more you know about yourself, the more you will be able to actually address all of these issues, and how you address it will not be the same as how another person does. It shouldn't be the same. You are unique. You have your own set of genetics that, again, if you know what that is, that'll help you along the way. My goal really is that you will really understand the importance of really getting to know yourself. You know, I hate to say this, but I know a lot of guys who I've competed with over the years. They never go to the doctor. You at least need to know what the problem is, what your issues are, and then you can decide how you want to deal with them. You don't have to do anything if you don't want, but you need to know what they are. Again, if you want to continue to compete into your 60s, 70s, you really need to know. And so I'm going to try to help you and nudge you along the way with that as well. Your diet, the food you eat, is really important. Your weight and all of that is really hinging on what you eat, how you eat, when you eat, and so we'll talk about all those different things. And again, there is no one specific way that applies to any one person. You need to figure out what you need to do, what your eating schedule looks like, and that's going to be entirely up to you. My plan is to drop a video a week. I would like to hear from others as they have gone through many things that'll be similar kinds of challenges and injuries and issues, but they'll be able to share their journey as to how they addressed it and the things that they did. And additionally, I probably will travel down to San Antonio, which is where the Texas Senior Games. I'll talk to some of those 90-year-olds, some of those 80-year-olds, and we'll have some great conversations. One of the things I love to do is ask the aging athlete what their current issues are, how they're dealing with them, and then I have things I love to encourage them along the way. So I hope you will join me. I will try to keep every video relatively short and very specific so as to not feel like I'm wasting your time. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't hesitate to comment, ask questions. Again, not me, but more importantly, others might have something to benefit you. Please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click on the bell to be notified when a new video drops. And God bless. I'll look forward to talking to you along the way.